care that much about the sparrow, Lord. We thank you, Lord, that you care even more about us, Lord, that we get excited, Lord, that you care so much about us, that you send your son to die, Lord. So we glory in that the death on the cross, the blood that was shed, that sin can never have dominion over us, Lord, and that we can live with you forever, Lord. And if that wasn't enough, Lord, you sent us your Holy Spirit, Lord, to fill us, Lord, to guide us into all truth, Lord, and just to be with us, Lord, no matter where we go, Lord. So we thank you for everything, Lord. And we never done one more thing, Lord. And we never woke up one more day, Lord. And we never had the activity of our lives, Lord. And if the car gone, the house burned down, Lord, whatever happens, Lord, we still have enough to give you praise for, Lord. So we give you that right now, Lord. And because of that, we come corporately together, asking you, Lord, to be in our midst, Lord, and keep doing what you're doing, Lord, in our lives, Lord, and keep being you, Lord. And so we trust the plan, Lord. We don't know it, but we trust it, Lord. And just so, Lord, if some people here, Lord, somebody here needs some faith increase, Lord. So I ask, Lord, that you help their unbelief, Lord, that you help their faith, Lord, that you help their praise, Lord, help them recognize who you are, Lord, so that they can live in the excitement of knowing, Lord, that they're not out here by themselves, but they have a great God that's with them, Lord. So today, I ask that you help our worship be acceptable in your sight. Forgive us for the sins that we know of, Lord, that we don't. Lord, all our shortcomings, Lord, and help you be our focus, Lord, on your sovereignty and your goodness and your greatness, Lord. So we just ask, Lord, that the word goes forth, Lord, that it's powerful and life-changing, that it cuts us where we need cut, Lord, where it separates what needs to be separated, Lord. So have your way in this place today, Lord, as we give you all the praise. We're here just our agenda issue, Lord. So we love you, Lord, and we thank you for all you have done. In Jesus' name, and everybody shout it!
To
just feel like the King James version going on. So today, this is going to talk about. So today is a very. I love Christian babies, and I really, it's one of the most important things I believe that we do here at the church. Sunday mornings is cool. Communion probably the top one. Baptism probably the top. But right after those two, I believe baby dedications are so important. And y'all know I've just been in this all of October. We talking about spiritual things and spiritual warfare. And last week was good. Anybody last week was still good? I got a lot of positive feedback about that. And so I'm just really studying it. And today we're going to be christening the baby Olivia, right? Olivia, right? Where's she at? Oh, she looks like she's probably playing. There you go. There she is. And so I was just preparing. And then so God just started dealing with me about, what popped up at the page and we're talking about spirits, it jumped up out the page and God reminded me of this old verse in the Bible that I would say old verse, but it's from the King James Version. They say it a little different in the New Testament, but it talks about how God has not given you the spirit of fear, right? He hasn't given you, we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're talking about stir up the gift and stuff like that. But God has not given us the spirit of fear. So if God didn't give it some kind of way, we might pick up these things. And we can pick up these things. And before that, it started talking about Timothy's grandmother. Before Paul told him that God has not given the spirit of fear, started talking about Lois and Eunice, his mom and his grandmother. And so I was just kind of dealing with that, and I was like, Lord, okay, what are you telling me? He said, you're christening the baby today. And what a lot of people don't understand is that the way their Christian walk, their Christianity, their relationship with God works out, we pass certain traits on to our kids, and we think all of them are physical traits. We think, my kids, they look just like me. I can't deny it. Even though Joe is a little lighter than Andrew, but they still just like me. And some of my characteristics go down. I can tell you one of them this weekend, and don't judge me, but I took my kids trick-or-treating. I went and got that candy, y'all. Right here, boom, And so Andrew was just real excited about it. Yeah, this is the only day he get to be Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? So he was Spider-Man, and nobody was really watching the Spider-Man stuff, but he was excited going to the people and asking for their candy, trick-or-treat and all that stuff. And so I'm trying to be nice. You trick-or-treat, give me something good to eat. And if you know Andrew kind of can have a way of saying things. So I said, well, say please, Andrew. So he said, trick or treat, give me something good to eat. And he looked at me, please. So I'm talking about Tracy passing down. So Andrew we went to this one particular house, and when we was walking up, I saw that somebody was dressed up as a scarecrow. Yeah. I looked at the feet, and I'm like, that don't look like a scarecrow. So Andrew runs down, I said, Andrew, there you go get some candy. And so Andrew walked up there. So now let me tell you, the guy who was dressed up as a scarecrow, his name was Andrew. His name was Andrew too. But his Andrew and my Andrew. And Andrew ain't much scared, So Andrew runs up to him and, look at the thing, and he moved. Andrew hit him with a two-piece McNugget. I was like, I'm so sorry. And the mom and them was out there, and I was like, yeah, because guess what? Because even though he grew up in Gonzales, he still got a little paper bill in him, right? He got a little paper bill with his DNA. And so a lot of me and who I am passed down into my kids, what my personality does and my looks are all of them taller than everybody, but sometimes we neglect our the spiritual things that we pass on to our kids, and we do it with no knowledge that we're doing this stuff, and then it's to when the kids get older, now God has to come and just undo some things that you should have done when they were young, and that's why baby dedication is so important, because it's our chance to say, Lord, you know what, before they start off, before anybody ever doing anything, before they go to school and find out what this world we live in is all about, Lord, let's bless them, Lord. We dedicate this baby to you today. So today we're going to talk about stir, pour, and touch. And I want you to look at it from, not only there's a lot of spiritual implications in this sermon. It's going to be a lot. I want to stick on your parents. I want to really stay in that vein, but it got so much just spiritual knowledge in there. So if you got your Bibles, you can turn over to first on 2 Timothy chapter number 1, verse number 5. We're going to start there. And if you got the King James version, if you're on your phone, you can just click on the King James. You got NIV. I know we usually go there, but we're not going to go there today. And for the people who are visiting with us today, I got it on the screen for y'all. There we There we go. Now, the page stop turning. Boy, y'all. I heard it stop. Here we go. Y'all with me? Amen. Everybody who got it on the screen say amen. Amen. Give a lot of amen to that. Amen. It says, when I call into remembrance the unfriends. I'm saying that right? Somebody help me say that. Right? Fame? I didn't know what it meant. I was reading it. I didn't know what it meant because the King James, I ain't got no English, right? And y'all know I can't spell all that good, right? So here we go. So I looked up the word. It means sincere, unwavering. That's what it means. It means sincere. I didn't know. I was like, I don't know which. I don't know what it means. Let me look it up, right? And it means sincere, unwavering. I want you to know that. Sincere, and when I call it remembrance, your sincere and unwavering faith that is in thee. So Timothy, he's talking to Timothy. Paul is the spiritual father. That's where we get spiritual fathers from. Paul is the spiritual father of Timothy, we can call it. I really don't roll like that and call it other people daddy because I like Buck. Woo! That all pretty good to me, right? That's my daddy, y'all don't know right there, right? I got a bigger heritage coming from me right now. Just come on, anyway. Right? So I don't talk to me about it, but Paul said, in the spirit, I am your father, right? You're my spiritual son. You're not my physical son, because I don't want to pay child support, but you're the spiritual son. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Right, here it says, was first dwell. He talked about his sincere faith that is in thee, was first dwell first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, and I'm persuaded that is in thee also. Wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou stir up the gift of God, which is in thee by the putting on of hands. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. Be not thou therefore ashamed of the testimony of the Lord, nor of me his prisoner, and be thou partakers of the affliction of the gospel according to the power of God. So now Paul is talking to Timothy, his understudy. He's about to go, and he's writing this letter from the jail, and he's in the Roman jail, and he's writing this letter. He said, Timothy, I want to pass some stuff down to you because I'm going to go. Timothy was a pastor. If you read Timothy chapter, the first Timothy chapter, I want to start talking about the deacons, what they're supposed to do, what the pastor is supposed to do. Timothy is the pastor of the church, and he's writing to young Timothy, and he's saying, you know what, this is what I want you to do. I want you to remember your faith. I see the faith in you, and I know that faith wasn't just by overnight faith, right? I see everybody, Kanye, I'm glad Kanye got saved and all this stuff, but that's overnight faith. I need me some tested faith. Yes. Can I get some amen? I need somebody who's been through some stuff, some ups and some downs, some rises and some falls, because this Christian life is not just this easy singing and stuff. No, I want to see when the rubber hits the road. That's what I want to see, because sometimes everybody want to give up. Sometimes it get hard, especially as the pastor. Paul is writing this letter to a pastor, and he don't want Timothy to burn out. He said, boy, you got faith in you. You got faith in you. And not only this, how I know. Just remember, your grandmother got saved, because Paul, back in Acts chapter 16, Paul was going around preaching. Paul was a circuit preacher, right? That's why I call him Apostle Paul, right? And so he was a circuit preacher. So he went to Timothy's hometown, and his grandmother got saved. And I can imagine the Lord's up in the church, and Paul starts to preach, and something just starts stirring in her bones, like Jeremiah said, like fire. And then she went home, and the revival still was going on. She goes to get her daughter Eunice, and she said, girl, you got to come to church. Paul I met Jesus, I got baptized, and so Eunice comes in church, and the Lord said they're praising God, and I can imagine little Timothy at home with his dad. Now, one thing doesn't mention is his dad, because Timothy's dad was a Greek, and Greek people wasn't saved at that time, right? And I don't want to beat up on daddies, because daddies, if a child goes to church by himself, they're about 20% likely into adulthood to keep going to church. If they go with their mother alone, they're about 50% that they're going to stay in the church or walk away. But they're 89% likely to stay in the church if they see their daddy going to church, because we're talking about all the people who say, I don't need no man. Yes, you do if you're raised in one. Yeah. Right? And so he said the Greek, Timothy's daddy is a Greek, is from Greece, so he don't really believe in the Bible. But regardless of who believes or doesn't believe, he had a praying grandmother. And because he had a praying grandmother, he had a praying mama. And because he had a praying mama, when the times got hard, Paul wanted to remind him, boy, your grandmother prayed for you and your mama prayed for you. I know that same faith is within you, but there's something you must nothing. I need you to bust a move, and you got to do a little bit more. And he says, this is what I need you to do, because this can by itself, y'all know where I'm going, it ain't dangerous. It ain't dangerous by itself. Somebody crack it open and just start drinking, but if I shake it up, can I get about amen? When I shake it up, he said, this is what he said. He goes on, he said, I want you to put this in remembrance because we laid hands on you. And there's something about laying hands on people. Be careful. I know people say that, don't let everybody lay hands on you right there. I mean, one day I was at work, right, and had this, I always try to witness to people, and they had this lady, she thought I was a fake and a phony, right? She thought I was a fake and a phony, so she said, I don't let everybody pray for me because you're supposed to let everybody lay hands on you. Old school lady, you know, I'm pretty sure she went down the backwoods of Mississippi somewhere, and I'm cool with that. So you know what I did? Every time I saw her, I tried to lay hands on her. Come here, right there. She was old enough so it didn't look, I was trying to be fresh with her. But anyway, here we go. So be careful of people, because just like sometimes we don't understand the power what affects us from the outside. Just like mom and grandmother laying hands, and you should always be laying hands, parents on your kids, saying, well, I'm going to pray for you. It might not look the same now, but I'm putting something in you right now. You don't know what I'm putting in you, but what I'm giving you right now, it's going to pay off later, right? That's why I'm so glad that the parents bring their kids along and say, hey, Pastor, I need you to just pray for them. Dedicate them to the Lord. Let's all get together and let's dedicate them to the Lord, because one day they're going to need this. They don't know what's going on now, but in the spirit realm, big things are happening, so they put their hands on them. So this is what Paul said when he got depressed. He says, wherefore I put thee in remembrance that thou ought to stir up the gift that was put in you by laying on a hand. That can is not dangerous until I start to shake it up. Just like a fire, that word stir up the gift, it means to basically, if you read the NIV, it means to fan in the flames. And we all know you've been out there and you started burning. Anybody ever started a fire? And if you just let that fire burn right there, guess what? Eventually, it's going to burn out. And that's what's happening to so many Christians. We've got on fire. We come to church and that's what I talk about the Kanye thing, right? We get on fire for Jesus. Lord starts doing great things in our life, and everything is working out good, and we know scripture, and we study our Bible, and everything is going good, and we walk away from some people, we bring some people in, and church is good, and you come here and you hear a good word, and pastor break it down a little bit better way you can understand it, and the fire is burning bright. However, if you don't throw the laws of prayer, if you don't throw the laws of reading the Bible, if you don't throw the laws of your fasting, eventually it's going to burn out. Paul said, I know you're going through right now, and it's tough, but I need you to stir up or fan into flames the gift. The Bible calls the Holy Spirit, one of the names of the Holy Spirit in the Bible, if you go back to the Hebrew, is pneuma, which means breath, right? It means fan up, give it some wind, give it the wind of the Holy Spirit. That's why everybody's on fire tonight, because we had a tough time this week. It's been a hard week last week. We lost some key, a pillar of the church, and it was tough, but however, God, ain't he so sovereign? The same week where you suffer great loss, it's the same week I come up in there and I open up my floodgates and pour the Holy Spirit and I grab the I need you to stir up that gift with worship. I need you to stir up the gift with worship through the laying on of hands. Then he goes into, he said, because what's going on, and it's so fathers, let me tell you this, men, let me tell you this, it's so important that you have your active part in the lives of your sons and your daughters. Because it says this, the next thing he says is, he said, I need you to stir up the gift. He said, for God has not given us the spirit of fear. Now, theologians believe why Paul told him that is because he was raised by his mom and his grandmother. I don't know what daddy did. I don't know if daddy was deaf home. I don't know if daddy was the perfect daddy. But he was raised by women. And one thing about women are kind of soft. All right, amen. Women are kind of, even the Bible says a woman she shouldn't be all loud and showing her body and all that. She should have a quiet and gentle spirit. That's how you can tell, you can win your husband, quiet and gentle spirit. And so because Timothy never saw that man figure, a lot of times in our society, you can see it right now, the reason why we got our boys walking around with their pants hanging halfway off their butt, I guarantee you they didn't have no daddy. I wish Andrew and Joe would walk in my house with their pants pulled out. My foot be flying right up in there, right there, and pulling up right on my foot. And we gonna put on the right there. And we gonna tell them to do those kind of things. But mama goes, it's cute. Make sure they clean. But no, it's so Timothy had a complex because he didn't have all all the ingredients he needs to make him a full, strong man. So Paul said this was, and sometimes men, as men, we gotta notice and see boys who don't have enough, and we gotta speak into their life, and we gotta keep going. I know sometimes they don't listen, and I know it seems like you're talking to a brick wall, but you gotta keep saying, someone's telling you something that's gonna be valuable to it, because one day, if you keep dropping them seeds, eventually it's gonna take root. Because there's too many people telling them the negative thing. They can look at any rap song and find out exactly what they need. And he says, you know what? God ain't give you that spirit of being timid. Yeah. He didn't give you the spirit of fear. And you got to have balance right there, because you can't tell everybody, because some people are just boisterous. Sometimes you got to tell them, no, you need a little fear. You're like, you're too loud. You know what I'm saying? Come on, be humble, sit down. Right, sit down, be humble. You know what I'm saying? Sit down. But some people, you got to say, guess what? God ain't give you that spirit to be scared. Because if God didn't give you, that means it comes from the devil. And over in the Bible, we can see spirits. We talked about this last week, that Satan is sending your way. One of them is called Baal, right? Baal, we see him in the Old Testament. There's a spirit that keeps coming up over and over in the Bible, the spirit of Baal. And how they worship Baal was they'll give human sacrifice to him. And when you see things, when people start murdering people for no reason, and you see these people in other countries, you see this cop that this guy ain't did nothing and he unarmed, and some just want this cop to kill him. It's not a race thing, it's the spirit of Baal. He ain't going nowhere. It just keeps on coming back down, and it's passed down from generation to generation, and people to people, because God didn't give them that. Another spirit, Hosea calls it the spirit of prostitution, but some of the people, it shows up as the spirit of Ashtoreth, right? It's a sexual demon. It's when you see people that's just overly sexualized. We live in a society like that that's just real overly sexualized. The sex sells. It does, because it's a part of the world, and God has not given us that stuff. That's why we got to be careful, parents, about the things that we let in our house and who we let go on and who we let our kids watch. You think it's just harmless, but no, that's a gateway for Satan to come in. And then you want to judge me about taking my son trick-or-treating, and you let that go on your TV? You better get out of here. So he said, I ain't giving you none of those spirits. Another spirit is the spirit of legion, right? We see Jesus run up on the spirit. It was so many spirits that they congregated together. And Jesus said, what's your name? He said,